talk about decentralization and then annihilation. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Litecoin, your coin, blockchain, baby. Mondays at 1600 hours Eastern, Studio A.
Hi there, welcome to...
Deep understanding must arise during these times of unparalleled deceit. A view into the depths of society upon which this country has fallen. A storm brews upon the horizon. It's been said that those that have the eyes to see and the ears to hear will play a paramount role in the
rest on this radio station. Its programs and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and FreedomSlips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, FreedomSlips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Hi, welcome to Sunday Night Live, coming in live from London tonight, and we have a really interesting guest, Salman Sheikh, with us, who is a YouTuber, broadcaster, truth searcher. Welcome to the show, Salman. How are you? Oh, he's gone. I thought he might have gone, and because his picture disappeared. Oh gosh, I don't really know quite what to do. Okay, I will wait for him to come back. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do to call him back. Don't worry, everybody. So I have just had a healing session, one of Sarah R. Adams' healing sessions in her multidimensionality group, which is a private group, and they have different things with her each week, mainly healing. Oh, he's back. And it's, really amazing. I've just had it. I'm going to write something about it tomorrow. Oh, hi there, Salman. Could you turn off your camera? Because it's radio. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I just turned it off.
Okay, Kushti. Lovely. So we're going to talk about Islam tonight together. We've only got an hour, so I'll just crack on straight away. My experiences with Islam personally, I was very into Yahweh, and I did some Psalm magic somebody gave me, which consisted of reading Psalm 23, Psalm 51, I think Psalm 70, and, something happened, everything came through, and I was saved from a, very unfortunate situation. And so I searched thereafter for Yahweh because, Yahweh had saved me, and I wanted to learn more about Yahweh, and I couldn't really find him. I obviously found him in the Psalms, obviously found him in Exodus and Isaiah, but then after I'd read that, I wanted more, and I then looked at Islam wondering, was Allah the same as Yahweh, who had saved me? I went to talk to somebody in a mosque, an imam in a mosque over in Hayes, and he abruptly converted me to Islam. So there I was, a Muslim. Didn't really make much difference. I don't smoke or drink, so that's okay. Don't eat pork, that's okay. Started off with the prayers, struggled a bit, didn't mind wearing the dress, the hijab dress, did kind of mind wearing the head, covering my head because you just get stared at being a white woman. And I came across Sheikh Ben Halimah. I think I can't remember what it was. I was researching something, and he came on the show and said to me I'd had sihir done on me, black magic, and I should meet him in a dream, and he would show me who had done the black magic. So this happened. He appeared in my dream and said, "You forgot to ask Allah to show you." And I said, "Oh yeah." So I did that, and then he was still there. After I dealt with that, he was still there. It was in a desert, and he showed me a portal to the world of the jinn, and I tried to get inside it, but they would only let me go as a bird. Well, first he turned me into a spider, and I was buried in the sand, and I said, "I can't do this." So then they turned me into a bird, and I basically flew over their realm, which is quite interesting. There's different parts. There's a part where the shayateen jinn are, and they are around the castle of Iblis, and you can't really go in there because, well, I was told because they'd smell human on me. But then after a few times, I then did enter the castle of Iblis and tried to communicate with him, but it's quite difficult because you're so smaller than he is. Last time I tried to communicate with him, he blew me away like I was sand. So that was quite interesting. So I just wondered, what you thought of the link between Allah and Yahweh and the jinn, etc. So go on ahead, Salman, share your wisdom.
Thank you so much, Chrissy, and it's an honor and privilege for me to be here with you. I would like to begin this with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. And myself, coming from a Pakistani Muslim family, I immigrated to the United States when I was 5 years old. Growing up, I always found the truth in all the religions that I was studying, where I would go spend time with my friends at the Bible classes at the local church. I would go spend time and read the Quran and study Islam at my local mosque. And there is a verse from the Holy Quran that stood out to me from Surah Baqarah, the second surah, verse 62. And it tells you that no matter what path you follow, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Islam, the Sabians, as long as you believe in Allah, and Allah is just the Arabic word for God, as long as you believe in God and do the right thing, then on the day of judgment you shall have no grief, nor will there be any punishment for you. So as long as internally you are a righteous person and you submit to the will of God, which is Islam, to submit to God and to submit to the divine plan, then that by definition makes you a Muslim. And the Islamic community sees itself as a continuation of the Judaic and Christian messages, as we are told that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the final prophet and the final revelation, and everything before that was Islam being revealed in stages. So everything since the time of the ancient Sumerians, ancient Egyptians, that was being revealed through Moses, all the way up to the time of Muhammad, was all a continuation of this one divine plan that was being revealed. And what does it teach you? The aspect of obedience to the will of God, to love each other, to honor and defend and respect your mothers, your sisters, your society, to be a community that is equal regardless of your race and religion, as the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad tells us to become one ummah. Like the definition of ummah means to become one community and to love and respect each other. And that's what it basically comes down to. And Chrissy's journey has been so interesting, that discovering the aspect of Yahweh and trying to find Allah, it basically leads you back to that one true reality, because it tells you in the Holy Quran that Allah is indeed the light of the heavens and the earth. So wherever you find that light, you are connected to that one true divine source. And that is the beauty of this entire journey. And even myself, from the Sufi background, you have the aspect of Iman, Islam, and Ihsan, where you have Iman, one, which is to basically have full trust and faith in God, in Allah. And it tells you that if you trust God, you will not have any danger to worry or fear about. You will always be loved, protected, and guided for, no matter who or what stands in your way. And I've had experiences like that too, where people told me that Iblis is after you. And I always in my life, as long as I put my trust in the higher power, I knew that I would always be protected and guided in my life. Second is the aspect of Islam, which is submission, obedience. And like it says in Surah 2, verse 62, as long as you submit to the will of God, whether you're a Muslim, Christian, Jew, Sabian, as long as you're a righteous person and submit to God's will, then you will be fine. And you have the aspect of Ihsan, which is a righteous, upright character and living a good life with the time that you have been granted. And that is basically Islam. And basically, if we see these realms that we're separated in, so you have the first realm that we're in, which is like matter, earth, water, air, fire, and ether. Then you have the second realm, which is like the realms of the jinns, the angels. So right now we're living in an as above, so below reality. So if humanity and the world are going through chaos right now, then so too are the realms above us, where angels and jinns go to war with each other. And you also have good jinns and bad jinns, just like how you have good people and bad people. So that duality of existence, where it tells you that both good and evil come from the Creator, but it's all there as a test. This human life that we're in, this specific realm that we're in, this is a test. This is a spiritual school. Our purpose here is to uplift each other, walk each other home, metaphorically speaking, and also to do good by self, by your loved ones, by the people who trust you, the ones that you trust, with the time that you have been given. My journey's been fascinating, where I came from Pakistan, then I went to the United States, then I went to England, then I came back here. So I believe our life is divinely orchestrated with all the things that we're meant to do, people that we're meant to see, places that we're meant to go. It is a divine, beautiful plan, and Allah, God, is painting your picture on the canvas like a beautiful artist with a beautiful canvas picture with a tapestry of different colors and patterns, both like light and dark, which at the end, they make you who you are. And we wouldn't be who we are if it wouldn't be for the challenges and how one thing leads you to another. So in this human life we're in, we're always being tested and tried, whether it's by humans or by angels and jinns. Even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was tested by Gabriel, who appeared to him in the form of a man, and it came and asked him, "What is your religion?" to test him in front of everyone. So this life is a test, and if we can pass this, ultimately, it's about putting your trust in the higher power, Allah, and not fearing anything. And that's the reason why Iblis considers humanity his enemy, because basically, if you read the Quran, we are the vicegerents, or we are the representatives of Allah on this earth. So after Almighty God, the humans are the highest authority on this earth, and that's why all these other forces, they detest us and they use us against each other. And that's why we all need to become one ummah and realize the message of Islam and what it's teaching us, to come together as brothers and sisters, as neighbors, regardless of race or religion. Even if you look at the treaties that the Prophet made with Christians and Jews, protecting them from pagan Arab tribes at that time of savagery, that still upholds today. And those treaties were followed by Saladin, other righteous people who followed Islam truly. So it's basically, we're all just one family. And it's the basic, if you look at the Quran or the Hadiths or the treaties with the monks of St. Catherine Monastery or the Charter of Medina, it's reiterating the same message that I'm telling right now, that if you're a righteous person, Chris, and if you're walking this path, then having a righteous heart and your trust in Allah and knowing that you're always loved, protected, and provided for, that will destroy the designs of millions of brutes and hypocrites who come after you.
So thank you for that. Thank you. So Allah is the same as Yahweh?
Yeah, that's exactly right, because in the Islamic terminology of how Islamic history is viewed, it basically tells you from the time of Adam all the way up until now, it was all Islam being revealed in stages. As it says in Surah 2, verse 62, that even if you're a Christian, as long as you're a righteous Christian, you'll be fine. If you're a righteous Jew, you will be fine. If you're a righteous Muslim, you will be fine. Because at the end, it's about submission to the will of God. It's not about your God, my God. If you don't believe what I believe, you're going to hell. That path doesn't lead to anywhere. It's about human unity, love, and understanding, brotherhood, sisterhood, where I can call you my sister, you can call me your brother, we can trust each other, we can uplift each other. And that's what humanity is missing today, where everyone wants to just deal with their own people, stick with their own people. They forget that we have a shared responsibility on this earth, not only for the survival of humanity, but for the survival of this earth. And we're just seeing so much human suffering right now because people have forgotten those basic values. It's about, what can I get out of this person? How can this person benefit me? And it's just materialism. It's greed. Well, Islam tells you every day that any day could be your last day, and make each day the best that you can with those that you love, those that love you. Trust God. Don't fear anything. Know that you will always be provided for, and everything in your life is a divinely orchestrated plan. And whether you view that creator as Allah or Yahweh, it's all about having that righteous heart and connection, which is submission, the definition of a Muslim.
Thank you. I do struggle with the prayers. You know, I know we're supposed to pray a few times a day and use your prayer mat, and I just struggle with knowing what to say in those prayers.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you know, the thing is, Chris, that Islam is a very simple and beautiful religion, as it says from the teachings of the Prophet and the Quran, that there is no compulsion in religion. It says that in the Quran, and even the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, do not make Islam difficult for the people. But unfortunately, it's people that have their own interpretations, and they make it difficult not only for themselves but each other. But as long as you have a righteous heart, then that's all that matters. Because look at those people that pray 5 times a day, or they go to church every Sunday, and some people are involved in wicked things which go against humanity. You could have somebody going to church or going to the mosque, and they might be lying to their spouse, they might be cheating people in business. So Allah or God sees that in your heart. So it's about the purity of your heart, as it says in Surah 2, verse 257. There shall be no compulsions in matters of faith. So it's not like if you don't pray, then the sky is going to rip open and you're going to get thrown right down to hell. It's about what kind of a heart and connection are you building with yourself, the environment, your family, and the Creator around you. So that's basically it. And it even says that in Surah 53, verse 40, that man will have nothing but what he strives for. So everything is there. We just have to find that unveiling within our heart. I think we spend our whole life, Chris, looking outside, looking over here, looking over there, but we fail to listen to that voice within, as even Surah 50 tells us that Almighty God is closer to you than your jugular vein. Just like in the book of Luke in the Bible, it tells you, kingdom of heaven is within. So we must find that inner voice and inner light within that will always guide you. And I tell both brothers and sisters on this path that always listen to that voice inside of you, which Rumi says that there is a voice that does not speak, and you should listen to it. And we all have this connection with the Creator, and it's coming back to the aspect of Sufi perspectives of Islam, which is tasawwuf, to be on the path of purity, purification of the self, the heart, the tazkiyah nafs, to control your nafs, to control your lower nature, because Iblis wants to destroy humanity, and basically you have to control your lower nature. If you can master your lower nature, then you pass Iblis's test, and you will be allowed to leave this realm, because even he himself cannot do anything on this realm that we're in without Allah's permission, which the Sufi master Mansur al-Halaj, he says that Iblis was Allah's, basically, he was the most jealous lover, because all believers want to love God so much and have that blessing in their life. And he bowed down to Allah on all corners of the universe. And when it came down, and worshipped for thousands of years, taught the angels how to read the Quran and all that stuff. So when it came down for the aspect of Adam, down before anything but Allah. So you have to look at it, even those beings like Iblis and the jinns and all that stuff, even they're serving some kind of a purpose, because if you did not serve a purpose, then you would not be created. And that's the reality that we're dealing with. So if in this life, when you try to get close to Allah or God, then you will have temptations that will fall in your life. Bad habits will come in your life. Friends that never called you will start reaching out to you all of a sudden. People from your past can be used against you, because that force is trying to break your connection with the Creator. But if you survive that test and you make that connection, then you will be able to ascend from this realm and pass the test that you've been put in. Where a lot of Sufis, there was one of my Sufi friends, and he was laughing that maybe I did something bad and God has punished me and he put me in this prison planet. And that's basically it. People, just look at the way people are treating each other right now. So if humanity wants to reverse that trajectory we're in on a downward spiral, we need to bring love back in our lives.
Yeah, I have noticed. I mean, even the interview I did recently with the BBC, you know, they about working in Fleet Street for the News of the World, you know,
Yeah.
they did one interview with me, and they said, oh, we want to do a second one, and they'd already had 3 hours. And I said to them, you know, are you going to, like, accuse me of things? Because they had last time. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. And when I met them, they were, like, hugging me and, oh, hey, and all this. And then when they got me into the position of sitting down, they started making all these accusations and saying I upset, you know, a celebrity, Sienna Miller, basically. I mean, how much can you upset a celebrity? You know, it was something really petty. And they then they made me apologize, which makes me look guilty for what they've accused me of. And I just thought, you know, then I wrote to their bosses and said, look, you know, this isn't right. And he just didn't even bother replying. And one of them, they replied and said, oh, no, you know, we're not like that, and sent me a link to, oh, how good the BBC is. And I just thought, how scummy, you know, an organisation that's supposed to be at the heart of the UK and supposed to treat people nicely, and they're just, you know, just highly abusive. You know, what hope is there really?
Yeah, I understand. And basically, Islam tells you that this world is a prison for the believers and a paradise for the unbelievers. So those that are selling out, they're selling their soul, or they're going off to the dark side, they'll have a beautiful life. Nobody will bother them. They'll have all the luxuries, access to everything. But at the end, there's a price to pay for that. Even Imam Ali says that he who sells this life for the next loses either of them. Because the greatest thing that you have, that you came here on this earth with, is your soul. Everything else, money, materialistic things, you leave behind. Just look at the rich sheikh in Dubai, the owner of Burj Khalifa. He's buried in the soil, and he didn't take the tallest building in the world with him. So Islam tells you that in this life you will be tested. You will have those that will come and try to drag your name through the mud and try to defame you, try to hurt you. But you have to keep the faith. Just like with the story of Job, which is in the Bible, and in the Quran, Job is Ayub, a prophet of God. And you have to survive those trials and tribulations. And in the Sufi path...
Sorry,
yes.
who who are the people that attack then? Who are these people, like say the BBC, for instance? Are they
Yeah.
connected to something spiritual? Do they have a god?
Yeah, so a lot of these beings that operate from the darkness, Chris, they're all part of those shayateens that are there to make life difficult for the believers. I mean, this is the same BBC that before Tower 7 fell down on 9/11, which was demolished, and they had already said that though the building has collapsed and the building was right in the back. So BBC has been caught on record being liars and manipulators. So these people, they serve demonic forces, and this life that we're in, this human life, the Sufi path tells you that the harder the better, meaning that the more difficulties that you have in your life, as crazy as it sounds, then that means that you're favored by the divine. Those that do not have any difficulties or trials in their life, they are not in favor by the divine. And that's basically, this is what this is, where things can overwhelm us. But look at it this way. Everything in your life that you went through, everything that I went through, the enemies that we faced, the challenges that we dealt with, we're still here. Sound, speaking to each other, educating those that are listening to us. And we're still here. We're still standing on our feet. We're still here. And that means we still have a purpose, because on this earth, you're needed not a second too much, not a second too less. Everything has a divine timing, and that's what it tells you. Trust Allah, do not fear any danger, and keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, it's hard, I must say, and I find that interesting. You said about having a difficult life. Mine's always been pretty battered, and I was watching that Beverly Hills Housewives. I only watched it because they've got Kim Richards, and she used to be in Escape to Witch Mountain when she was little. So I started to watch season 1, 2, 3, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And there was a woman, mostly they kind of seem to be unhappy because they bitch at each other. But there was one woman, Lisa Vanderpump, who is very beautiful. She's about 60 now. She's very beautiful, and she has a glorious mansion with an amazing view, like a god, really. She's living like a god, and she has nice friends, and she's very well respected. And I was watching, and I thought it was so interesting, and I thought, how come some people have that? And then it got to the point where she was talking about love, and she's with her husband, and she was renewing her vows, and she was talking about renewing her vows, and her eyes were shining with such love for her husband. And I just started crying, because I thought, it was overload. I could tolerate, they've got all those gorgeous things. I don't even have a home of my own, but they've got such beauty. They've got the views, they've got friendships, they've got respect. They're part of the community. I'm not. They're respected by the community. I'm not. And it's like, and love as well. And that was too much for me, and I started crying, actually.
Yeah, that's definitely right. But look at it this way, Chris. In our life, we think that we're always alone and there's nobody out there that cares for us. But in this life and in this journey, I realized you are never alone. There are beings and forces and loved ones. There are people out there that love you, that care for you, that respect you, that will stand by you. And that is this human life, whether it's Christ with his disciples, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, with his Sahabas, Moses with his tribe. Every group and every leader and prophet and messenger, peace be with them all had those that stood by them when the entire world and forces were against them. And as long as you stick to your guns and stick to your path, and you know what you need to do, and you let your heart divinely guide you, because the woman is such a special creature in Islam. It tells you that heaven lies at the feet of your mother. And the Sufi order that I belong to, the Fatimiyya Sufi order, it tells us to give respect to Fatima al-Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet, that she was the mother of her father. So even if you look at Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Rahman is feminine and Rahim is masculine. So even creation itself cannot exist without the woman's blessing and the woman's divinity. So that is a special thing that you have within your heart and in your existence, and why you're always loved, protected, provided for. Despite the challenges and the difficulties, heaven lies at the feet of your mother. You're a mother, and all the blessings that will come in your life. This right now in our current phase, this is not the end of our stories. We're still needed for something, and that keeps my faith going, and I hope that does the same for you.
Yes, I think so. I like to think I will do something. I do feel a little bit of sympathy for Iblis, because I think because when I came here, I was left by my natural mother, if you can call her that, and the family. They could have looked after me. They chose to put me in an orphanage. And then I was adopted, and she beat me, and he sexually abused me, and then they put me back in care when I was a teenager. And I guess I've seen the dark side of humanity,
Yes.
pretty much. And then so when it comes to Iblis, who hates humanity, I can relate to that a lot. And then when he says, apparently he says, to Allah, I'm made of fire, they're just made of clay. And I think, yeah, you're right. And it's like, how can you not feel attracted to Iblis? And is that wrong? Because I find myself attracted to that creature who seems to hate humanity, because I think that, yeah, he's bang on,
Well, honestly, there is nothing wrong with that, because if you look at the aspect of Iblis and who he was originally, he had worshipped Allah for thousands of years, bowed to the Creator from every corner of the known universe, teaching the angels basically the aspect of the choir, and giving praise to the Creator, and teaching them how to read the Quran and all the knowledge that he bestowed. And they would say there are certain Sufi interpretations that would tell you, Chris, that basically he passed the test, because you are under Islamic law, if you bow down to anything besides Allah, you're committing shirk, which is basically you're going against the faith. So Iblis, even when he told Allah that the only thing that I see is you and only you, how do you expect me to bow down to anything else besides you? So the many interpretations say that he passed the test. If you look at the Sufi teacher Mansur al-Hallaj, and he tells us that then Allah basically assigned this realm to Iblis, that whoever tries to get close to me, you will come in their path and put trials and tribulations in their life, and see how much they can handle. Will they fall short? Will they fall down and resort to the darkness? Or will they pass the test? So basically, to get out of this realm, Allah has assigned Iblis to see who will be worthy. And that's basically, if you look at two friends that are playing a chess game, two friends that love each other that are playing a chess game, one is on light and one is at the dark, and you have these two pieces that are moving together. And at the end, what happens with the chess game, Chris? Whether it's the queens, the bishops, the rooks, and the pawns, all the pieces go back in the same puzzle. So at the end, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be mercy, forgiveness, and this human life, whether you follow one path or the other, it's all leading back to the Creator. And it tells you both good and evil come from Allah in the Quran. So it's depending on your free will and your actions, that's the type of life that you choose to live. But at the end, even if you look at the concept of Wadat al-Wajud in Islam, or the Sufi aspect, it tells you that everything in existence, you, I, the birds, the trees, the star, the moon, the universes, the galaxies, everything is basically a projection of that one true Creator, the one and true living God, Allah, who has no beginning and has no end. And he's experiencing this reality through all of us, through infinite realities, simulations, and how in the Quran it tells you of Allah as this greatest treasure that desired to be known, and it wanted to understand itself through itself. So basically, all of us are an extension of that force, and only that force has no beginning and no end, while all of us, we will come and go in this life.
Oh, I see. So it's okay to feel attracted to Iblis and to communicate with him?
Yeah, sure. As long as you're not doing anything evil, because there are those that follow the path of Iblis, and I know several that do. And if you do, as long as you're not committing any evil to self or others, or you're not doing anything which is diabolical, which goes against creation, then it's about your heart, your personal journey, your interpretation, how you choose to get too close to the Creator, because Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. So in whichever way you perceive that light, whichever way you get close to that light, as long as you have a pure heart and you're not hurting yourself or hurting others or plotting against self and others, then you will be fine. And it even tells you that in the Quran, that no matter what you believe, as long as you believe in God and do the right thing, it's not about, oh, you make one mistake, or if you do this, then you're going to be banished to hell forever. So it's about being a righteous person and doing the right thing and not hurting anybody. And if you do that, then you're much better than those that go to church or the mosque and they pray 5 times a day, or they go to church on Sundays, but they're doing despicable things.
Mm-hmm. What do your friends do? Is there special prayers then to get close to Iblis? What do your friends do?
That I am not sure, Chris, but ultimately it's about basically, well, I mean, it's like you said, when you have difficulty making prayers, you have to make that intention. You can say your own prayer if you wake up in the morning that, oh, Allah, guide me, protect me, love and protect my loved ones, my family, my friends, and give me the strength to get through the day. And if you can make your own prayer, there's nothing wrong with that, because it's about your intent and how you're choosing to connect that intent with your words, which are spells. Words are spell, and in school they teach you how to spelling. So if you could connect that with your own intent and your own special prayer, then you made your own personal connection. And one of the 99 names of Allah is Al-Basir, the all-knowing, the all-seeing. And he will know what your intent is, what you're asking for. And if you're living a good, clean life with a good conduct, with a good conscience, then your words will not fall upon deaf ears.
That sounds a nicer name. I get a bit sick of the names for God. They're a bit, people say them over and over, and you just feel so self-conscious saying them.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any other names? What was the name you said just now?
So basically, what we know as Allah, the Creator, you have these 99 attributes, and each attribute basically has its own name. And you have one of the names is Al-Basir, which is the all-seeing, the all-knowing, meaning that God knows who you are, Chris. God knows your tears, your heart, your life, your smile, and all the things that you went through. And if you submit, it comes back down to submission, no matter what path you follow, as supported by Surah 2, verse 62. As long as you submit to the divine power and surrender to the divine power and let that divine power guide you, then you shall be fine in this life and you will be protected from your enemies.
That's truly nice. Do you want to read that surah out?
Oh, sure. So basically, Surah 2, verse 62, it just tells you, before I read it, it will tell you that basically you are, as long as you are righteous, then you will be absolutely fine. And it tells you that, quote, indeed, the believers, Jews, Christians, and Sabians, including Muslims, whoever truly believes in Allah, God, and the last day and does good will have their reward with their Lord. And there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve. So if you have these people that come in religion and they try to create divisions between Jews, Christians, and Muslims, they already went against the core message of Islam, which tells you to become one ummah and love and respect each other. And that's what we're all striving for in our lives and what we're hoping to do with the time that we have been given. Life, Chris, is too short. I just recently turned 30, and everything from my childhood up until now, it seems like a blur. Everything goes by super quickly. Everyone goes their own way. Everyone has their own journey. Friends go their own way after school. Mates go their own way. So you have to realize the aspect of this test. And when you die in Islam, they tell you that to God you belong and to him you shall return. So this life, and it tells you to not be attached to anything in this life, because something that you have today, you'll not have it tomorrow.
Did you read it out? Was that part of what you've said, or?
That was a supplement to the verse that what I said.
Oh, cool. Are you going to read it, or you haven't got it there?
I did. I just read it.
That was it.
Too.
Oh, okay. That's what it sounds like. Oh.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Awesome. Do you want to read another prayer to draw us out? I see we're running out of time. So, do you want to end on something you can read out that's really nice?
Yes, definitely. I will this prayer, Chris, I will do on my intent and my own personal prayer that I will add onto this talk that we're doing. So I would like to pray and ask Allah to heal, guide, love, protect, and provide for myself, Chris, all those that are listening to this interview right now, those that will listen to it in the future, those that will listen to it at their own leisure. I pray for all of you, that all of your families, loved ones, those that you hold near and dear, that all your sorrows are eviscerated. You're always loved, protected, and provided for. There's always a smile on your face, and you know that you are never alone in your life, even when you think that you are. And to believe in the higher power and the messengers who are always encompassing us, and our ancestors and our loved ones, who are all embodied within us in our human spirit, in our human existence. How special we are to live in these changing times right now, to experience this change. So embrace the love that you have for self and others. Love and respect each other. Don't hate anyone. Forgive those that have transgressed in any way, and move on with your life in a light heart, in a light way. Make peace with self and others, and know that as long as you are a righteous person, there's nobody that can do anything to you. As a righteous heart that's connected to God, destroy the designs of millions of brutes and hypocrites that will stand in your way. So just make the best use of this human life that's been given to you. At the end, the only thing you will have left are your memories, and it's not about your titles, your degrees, or your money, or how many dollars and pounds you have. It's about what good did you do for yourself and others with the time that you have been given. That is the greatest wealth you will carry with you in this life, the next life, and wherever your existence continues to take you. And whether you're a Christian, be a good Christian, be a solid Christian, a righteous Christian. If you're a Jew, be a righteous Jew. If you're a Muslim, be a righteous Muslim. Whichever you are, be a righteous and honorable individual with an upright heart and character, and you will be fine when the time comes. And my love and blessings are with all of you and yours, and I hope in these challenging and changing times you continue to keep the faith and know at the end, good always wins.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Is there any lovely verses you've got there? I know there's a lot of poetry in the Quran. I read one time, it was about a white horse, and I don't remember where that was, but there was a mention of a horse.
Yeah, so in addition to the horse, there's another verse that I will like to talk about, which is Surah 49, verse 10, and it tells you that the believers are but one brotherhood. So make peace with your brothers and have mercy and forgiveness for each other, so that God may have mercy for you. That is equivalent to the verse of Psalms 133 in the Holy Bible, where it tells you that, behold, how good it is for brothers to dwell in unity. So basically, it comes down to the same exact thing: love, respect, honesty, fraternity, truth, friendship, and basically that's what it is. And even the aspect of the horse, you can come down to Surah 16, verse 8, when it tells you that God created the horses, the mules, and the donkeys. And basically,
is that the actual? No, it was a bit of a poem. It was a bit of a poem about. Do you know where I mean?
Well, it basically, if you look at the poem, the horse is. Now, this is the poem that I think you're talking about.
Could you read it out?
Yeah, it says, "I have made thee as no other. All the treasures of the earth lie between thy eyes. Thou shalt carry my friends upon thy back. Thy saddle shall be the seat of prayers to me. And thou shalt fly without wings and conquer without sword. O horse." And this is from the Quran.
Oh, so carry on.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's it. And is that the only? Is that the only poem where they mention a horse in the whole of the Quran?
Well, this is like the main one where God has given such a magnificence to the horse. And even as we see, even in the royal family in England, how much they love the horses, is the aspect of the horse is a creature that is made like no other. And it sees the treasures of so much human experience and existence happened at that time where there were no cars or trains. Everyone traveled via horses. So the horses were like a vessel and a gift from the Creator that were granted to mankind so they can basically aid them in their existence. And how a horse is such a magnificent creature where you can ride a horse from one city to another, and he will be there for you as a faithful vessel and as a faithful friend. And what God tells the horse, that thou shalt carry my friends upon thy back, thy saddle shall be the seat of prayers to me. And how many people who traveled via horses and pilgrimages, they offered prayers while sitting on a horse. And the horse, how it flew in human existence, in battles, and human evolution, how it was a creature that was flying without wings and conquered many lands without a sword through its travels and experiences.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a
definitely.
shame we don't really have that connection. You know, we're in cars now.
Yeah, we have lost that connection, Chris, with not only with each other, but with the divine and the creatures around us and with nature. If you go to your local restaurant, you go to your local food spot, you will see the families that are sitting down on the table. Everyone's looking at their phones, their social medias, and they're trying to take a nice picture to appease people who will have no effect on their lives. And while you're losing time with your loved ones who are sitting physically in person in front of you, and we're living in a generation which is there to impress others and basically to be in gratification, to lose touch with each other, with nature, with the animals around us, with the world that we've been given. So we have to make use, Chris, with the time that's been given. And right now, we don't have that connection anymore. Just like with the horse, I mean, it's just not there anymore. People are not connected with nature and the elements and so many things that are around us. Even if you look at Al-Buraq. Al-Buraq is the flying horse that took the Prophet, peace be upon him, on the night of ascension to the seven heavens. So we have to establish that connection with each other again, and with not only humanity, but all of the other beings that also coexist on this earth.
I'd love to have a horse, but I suppose, you know, poor people can't have horses.
Well, you have the heart that you have the heart of a horse and a believer. And that's why you will continue to prosper in your life, and you will overcome all of your challenges, and you're always going to be loved, protected, and provided for. And any person who are on these paths, just like what Sheikh Ben Halima said, that you have to ask Allah for help, and ask and you shall receive. And when you ask, then that's when that blessing will come. And then once you ask, you also have to submit to the will of God. Once you bring the two together, that's when the blessings will start coming in your life.
What, the asking and then submitting, you mean?
Yeah, you have to ask, and then you have to submit. Then you have to let God's will be done. And that's when the aspect of protection, provisions, having food on the table, having some sort of an income that gets you by, that will get you through the difficulties of life. And look at it this way: somehow, some way, we all find food to eat, and nobody goes hungry in many ways. Even homeless people or rough sleepers, somehow, some way, they'll find food to eat. They'll find some place to shelter. So we're all getting through this journey day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. And it's all about the faith. You keep the faith, and look at your life. You were adopted in an orphanage, and all the difficulties and abuse you went through, the challenges you went through. And look at you now. You're a teacher. You're a wonderful mother to your son. And you're a wonderful example to so many people. And you're teaching and guiding people. You have a purpose.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes I don't feel as if I have a purpose, but yeah.
No, you definitely do. Otherwise, we would have never met. And I believe in our divine chemistry and the divine connections we make with brothers and sisters and friends on the path. If people are meant to come in your life and you in theirs, and that all comes together very nicely. And you must be there to guide each other and teach each other. And whatever you guided and taught each other, you teach that to others, and you are doing that. So many people have so many things, and they're not doing the work that you are doing, which basically you are walking the path of the great guides and teachers who face difficulties, who are there teaching humanity, and that's it. And if you have the concept of the jihad, and jihad it's not only a holy war, but it's struggling to handle your life and to be the best of your character day by day, where every day you think better, you know better, you do better, and you know that you're on this path of self-initiation, self-perfection, and you're avoiding the bad habits in your life. You're trying to do good things in your life. And that's basically it. Everything else in this life, Chris, it comes and goes. Jobs, peoples, places, and things. And that's why Islam teaches you not to be attached to this world. And one day, you will leave from this earth. That is the reality that we are taught. So make the best use of your life and continue to perfect your character in everything that you do and that you are presented with.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, sometimes I don't feel that I've got a mission, but yeah, thank you for saying that. I hope I do have a jihad. That makes me feel better.
Yes, definitely. And look at it this way: if a creation did not serve a purpose, then the Creator in His infinite glory would not have created that individual. Some people's purpose, Chris, is just to exist because of their light, to be in a certain area, to elevate the light and the love of that area, which is being engulfed in darkness. Some people's purpose is just their existence, nothing more. So, and you'll be here as long as you're needed. And some people leave in this life at a young age, some at a middle age, some at an old age. So, and that's the connection that we have to establish with each other, where it's about success, perfection of the heart, perfection of your character, and just living a good, clean life, and know that everything in your life will be fine when the time comes, and not to worry about anything. Then that's exactly what it is. We come to this understanding, and we know that we have to basically understand, what is Islam teaching you? It's not only a religion that's teaching you how to live, it's also preparing you how to die. And it tells you that in Surah 21, verse 36. Quote, every living being shall taste death. We shall subject you to ill and good by way of trial, and to us you shall all eventually be sent back. So we live in this life thinking that our problems are permanent, our issues are permanent, our enemies are permanent. But that's not true. You're here to pass the test. If you get through it, great. And you just have to try your best. And God knows your intent. And know that everything in your life shall come together in a very, very nice and vivid manner, as you yourself are a testimony of overcoming challenges, and yet here you are still. You're breathing, you're walking, you're living your life, and everything has come together for you, regardless of the enemies and the challenges you have faced.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm glad you had I can't say. I'm glad I had you as a guest on. It's been quite timely. So I just had some healing done on me, and I felt, I felt really good after that. I had Sarah Adams did a group healing. It was really good. And so listening to you afterwards has really been, really been great.
Thank you, Chris. The honor and privilege is mine. And please, you can reach out to me anytime. My blessings and prayers for you, your audience, your guest, and thank you again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you all for listening, and that was our fantastic guest this week, Salman Sheikh. And if you want to log on to his YouTube, I'll put a link down below. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week. And thank you, Salman, and have a good week.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Still out there?
You going back in?
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. #1 listener-supported radio. The printing press for freedom at a time when freedom is needed the most.
I am Bill Johnson. Some consider my efforts to be an underground law school. I am not an attorney, and I do not give legal advice. I teach. That's lawful and legal. Consider yourself served. You are to appear Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, Studio A. My forte? Foreclosure and contract law. Grab your legal pad and pen. Learn a broad spectrum of law spanning administrative, criminal,